Mike Brown benches Kobe Bryant in the fourth quarter. Is it really that big of a deal? We discuss on stntv. Welcome on inside Voice of the Nation Fast Break. My name is David Brickley, as always, joined by Jason Rowley and Kevin Figures. We're going to give you the opportunity to win this Lakers titanium bracelet from Bryant, so stay tuned for instructions on how to win that. All right, guys, so the big story in Lakerland was Mike Brown benching Kobe Bryant in a winnable ball game against the Memphis Grizzlies on Sunday. He sat on the bench and replaced for Metta World Peace for 4 minutes down the stretch in that ball game. A lot of people making a big deal out of this one. Jason, what were your thoughts?
It's an odd move by Mike Brown. I think that's the easiest way I can explain it. Is it was strange, and the whole story to me happened in the post-game conference when Mike Brown had the opportunity to just go ahead and squash the whole story by saying, hey, look, Kobe played a lot of minutes. We're down 14 points. This wasn't a winnable game. I just wanted to go ahead and rest him. He didn't. He actually, in fact, he seemed to get a little bit defensive and said, hey, I don't have to defend the decisions that I make with substitutions. And that tells me that it is a bigger deal than just I sat Kobe to give him some rest.
Mike Brown, Kevin, didn't throw the white flag. He didn't surrender. He would have brought back Bynum and Gasol to the bench. This was simply a move to show who's boss, really. The only way you could
That's the way that you can look at it. And maybe I'm just looking from the basketball standpoint of it. Look, like you said, they were down 14 points. He takes Kobe out. They go on, a 7-8-0 run. They could have down to 8 points. They bring Kobe back in the game. So I don't know if it's a strategic thing going on. I'm not going to jump to a conclusion and say that Mike Brown has this ulterior motive and he's trying to get in Kobe Bryant's head or he's trying to show who's boss. I just think in that certain situation, the way the Grizzlies were defending Kobe Bryant, he wasn't ultra effective. He shot a high percentage, but he didn't shoot as many shots as he normally does. I just think it was more of a strategic basketball move than trying to make a point.
Strategic basketball move. So you're telling me Metta World Peace in place of Kobe Bryant, arguably one of the best players of all time, is better for your basketball team at that point in time. I don't buy it. I mean, I understand in Detroit and Washington a couple weeks ago, and even in Houston, he went on a period where he kind of forced about 4 or 5 shots in a row. If he pulled him out in a situation like that, I kind of understand, and I think any objectable fan could sit there and say, okay, Kobe was kind of hogging the ball a little bit. Let's sit him down for a couple minutes. Let's let him, gather himself and throw him back in the ball game. There was no reasoning in that move. I mean, he had one errant shot, I believe. I just don't understand the timing of that move.
But it could have been a situation, a little bit like Kevin said, where we're down 14. Kobe has played a lot of minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and pull him out. Oh, wow, we just made a 6-7-0 run. Let's get Kobe back in and see if we can close this game out. But again, I go back to the post game.
Why not say that?
Yeah. And that tells me that, Mike Brown had a reason to do this. It wasn't just a random thing. It wasn't a rest thing. It was, I am Mike Brown. I am the coach, and I'm going to send a message to my player, who is Kobe Bryant, and I call the shots around here. And I think there's been a power struggle. And, even going way back into Cleveland, Mike Brown and LeBron James is the same kind of thing. Mike Brown kind of got pushed over by LeBron, and maybe he's seen some of that situation take place late in ball games where the Lakers aren't executing.
I will say this. I think Laker fans are kind of about Mike Brown right now. I think they're waiting for the playoffs to give their final assessment. They really don't know how to feel. Do they like Mike Brown? Do they hate? The one way you could make sure you just alienate all Laker fans is sit down Kobe Bryant in the fourth quarter. I'm being honest. I mean, he's that's a death wish, in my opinion.
If this
Keep on doing that, you're going to lose your job.
If this is a fourth quarter of a game where you're down by 5 with 5 minutes to go and you say Kobe Bryant, you're down by 14 points. And the way that game was going. How many
games have we seen where Lakers and Kobe has gone on a huge stretch and won games like that? Down 14 with 5 minutes, but 5 minutes left is an eternity in an NBA basketball game.
The way that game was going, did you really have confidence that Kobe Bryant and that team was going to come back?
Okay, so then you're saying that Mike Brown thought the game was over and pulled out his best player.
Yes, he waved the white flag.
So then why not say it in the postgame? The game was pretty much over. Kobe was
I'm not in Mike Brown. I can answer why I didn't say that. I'm just saying I'm not giving you the benefit of the doubt and say this is a possible reason why he did that. And like Jason said, you pull him out of the game, you make a run, you put him back in the game. Because if that's the case, he wouldn't have put him back in.
Now, Kobe was obviously upset post-game. He said he was, of course, unhappy about being pulled out of the game. Here is his quote. He makes a decision. He's the coach. If you guys are looking for a story, I'm not going to give you one. I can't sit here and criticize his decisions, but you could obviously see Kobe Bryant's face sitting next to Josh McRoberts, of all people. He's not used to being in that situation.
It was first of all, it was a bad decision at the point in the game. Like, 14 points, 5 minutes.
For 6 months
against a team that's not very good, you can still come back.
Not very good.
And you can win that basketball game. But the fact that he pulled Kobe as a bad decision, and honestly, the reason he couldn't defend it in the postgame, he didn't have a defense for it. It was a bad move, and Mike Brown should take the blame for that.
I'm going to debate whether or not the Grizzlies are that's a different discussion for a different day, whether the Grizzlies are a good team or not. That I'm not going to say he put them against. This is not the Cleveland Cavaliers he pulled him out against. that would be a different situation. This is a good team. Like I said, that game was going downhill. He pulled Kobe out of the game. The Lakers made a comeback that pretty much nobody saw coming.
Okay, so next time the Lakers want to make a comeback, pull out Kobe Bryant.
You guys are taking this so.
No, but I just don't understand the reason behind it. And when the press continues, and I'm glad for the reporters, they kept on prodding Mike Brown like, so what's your reason? I wanted to make a sub, so I made a sub. I decided to make a sub, so I made a sub. That's kind of, again, you're trying to make a point. You're trying to show who's boss. That's fine if you want to do that. That's fine if you do that once a year. But I'll tell you what, do that a couple more times. Do that in the playoffs. You'll be out of L.A.
Really? You think Jim Buss right now is going to take
No,
Kobe
not
Bryant
right now.
over
I'm saying do
Mike
that
Brown?
do that a couple more times, and then Kobe will not let this one slide.
He will
let it slide this one.
I hate to break it to you. Kobe has no authority over Mike Brown right now. Mike Brown has Jim Buss's ear more than Kobe Bryant.
But do you not agree
does.
that superstars run this league?
Most of the time,
Would
yes.
you rather have Mike Brown showing people who's boss or have Kobe Bryant?
It doesn't matter what I want. It's about Mike Brown, Jim Buss, and the Buss family and that team.
Look, the most important thing for the Lakers and for Mike Brown's success, and we talked about this 8 months ago, is that Kobe Bryant buys into what Mike Brown is doing. And if Mike Brown is, they're getting into a man-on-man, whatever power struggle, that is the absolute worst thing that can happen for Mike Brown in his future in Los Angeles, because not only is it going to be bad in the minds of fans, which it already is Kobe Bryant is going to be frustrated, and you're not going to get the best out of Kobe Bryant, which means you're not going to get the best out of the Lakers, and that is why it is a big issue and should be a big issue.
So we'll see if Mike Brown will try this little, experiment again. But anyway, we want to give you guys an opportunity to win this Lakers titanium necklace, actually, from Fightin'. All you got to do is subscribe to our channel, and we'll pick a winner from there. We'll ask you guys the question, do you have a problem with Mike Brown benching Kobe Bryant in the fourth quarter of a winnable ball game against the Memphis Grizzlies? For Jason Rowley and Kevin Figures, my name is Steve.